Finding Niesha's courage. Gold and brown leaves crunched under Niesha's boots as she made her way down the sidewalk. She could not wait to be home. The chill from the autumn wind was bad, but it was not nearly as hard to bear as the chill she felt in her heart. She could not forget the way she had frozen in front of the class today. Mr. Roberts had divided the class into groups to do presentations. Each person in the group would speak for 5 minutes in front of the class. Today had been Niesha's turn. Her legs had wobbled all the way to the front of the classroom. Her hands had shaken so badly that she could not read her notes. As Niesha had spoken, her voice had become softer, trailing off to silence. Mr. Roberts had kindly ended Niesha's part of the presentation, even though she had clearly not finished. He had also asked Niesha to stay after class for a moment. Niesha, I know you're shy, but you worked hard on this project. I'd hate to see you give up on yourself. Mr. Roberts had hesitated. If I give you until tomorrow, do you think you can find your courage? Niesha had nodded, grateful for the chance. She had gone as quickly as she could to her next class. She kept her head down and hoped the school day would end soon. When she reached her back steps that afternoon, she could see an inviting light coming from the kitchen windows. Mama was baking. When Mama baked, Niesha always watched and chatted with her. Mama always said it was Niesha's company that made her baked goods taste so sweet. Mama studied Niesha's face as she came into the kitchen. What's wrong, Niesha? Tears shone in Niesha's brown eyes. She let the whole story tumble out. Mama was silent for a moment, her hands still busy with the cake. Why is it that you can talk to me about anything and everything, but you can't talk to your class? Mama asked, sliding the round aluminum cake pans into the oven. She set the timer and then said, Let me show you something. Niesha followed Mama to her bedroom. There was a trunk at the foot of the bed filled with Mama's old things. Mama dug around for a minute and pulled out a book filled with newspaper clippings and pictures. She flipped the dry brown pages until she found what she was looking for, a blue ribbon that said First Place, and a picture of herself when she was very young, standing with her parents. I won it for public speaking. I started the school year as the shyest girl on the speech team, but I ended the year as a blue ribbon winner. It wasn't easy because I was a very timid girl, not sure of myself at all. I worked hard, and mostly I faced my fears. You just need to find your courage. That was the second time someone had told her that today. Niesha followed Mama back to the kitchen. What was it that made her so afraid? Soon, Mama's gooey, sweet caramel milk cake had risen in the pans, and Niesha sat down in the kitchen. Mama pulled the pans from the oven and put them on a wire rack to cool a little bit, while she melted the caramel for the cake topping. When the caramel looked about as thick as honey, Mama let Niesha stir the chopped pecans into the mixture. The smell of the lumpy topping comforted Niesha as she wondered where she would find her courage. When the topping was ready, Mama poured it over the cake. Niesha watched the topping slide down the sides of the cake. Mama then cut a thick slab and put it in front of Niesha. There's nothing better for a heartache than Mama's love baked in a cake, said Mama. Niesha raised a forkful of warm cake to her mouth. She could taste the caramel, the pecans, and lots of Mama's love. All the fear in the world could not take away that love. Niesha felt safe in Mama's kitchen. The next day, Niesha again walked to the front of the classroom to give her presentation. She could feel herself becoming nervous once more. Earlier that morning before school, Niesha had borrowed Mama's blue ribbon for encouragement and folded it into her front pocket to take with her. As Niesha faced the class, preparing to speak, she remembered the ribbon in her pocket. She thought of the smell of Mama's kitchen, the old newspaper clippings, the safety she felt at home, but most importantly, Mama's supportive words. Niesha took a deep breath and began to speak with confidence. Today, she found her courage.